Alright YouTube, in this video we are going to convert Bootstrap Carousel into a full screen slider with text and the image. As you can see, this is a Bootstrap Carousel I have converted into a homepage slider, as you can say homepage banner. In this carousel, on a single page you can see there is a heading known as infrared thermometer, and side in the right hand side you can see there are list some of the list, and in the left hand side you can see there are images, and this is a single slide. Don't forget, you will get the source code in the description. Fine. If you get into the second slide, there is a change of background image and the change of the image itself. You can change the content. As I said, you will get the source code in the description. These are the steps. You will also get the steps in the description. Fine. Now what we are going to do is we are going to look at the required HTML folder. Fine. It's in the desktop. Let me open it for you. So this is the page. Now in the same folder I'm going to create another file side by side. I'll show you from very scratch. Fine, it's in the desktop as I said. Now you can see this is the HTML file. I'm going to create another file. For this tutorial, let's save it as slider fullscreen.html. Fine. Now we need these HTML. We have completed the first step. Now since this is a page, and these are the images, and I have included the internal style sheet itself, and these are the required resources. Now we are going to create our own page on the same folder itself. We have named it as slider fullscreen.html. At present it is blank. Now you know these are the resources, common resources for every HTML page. It will have head, body and closing of HTML tags. Let me fill it first, and then I'll show you what are the links required, or you can see what are the resources required. The first resources, it's also called CDN, content delivery network. Instead of downloading it in our page, we'll just the URL itself. Fine. Now we need the font awesome CDN. I'm going to copy it and paste it inside the head tag. We need the Bootstrap CDN, Bootstrap CSS CDN and Bootstrap JavaScript CDN along with the jQuery. This is the jQuery CDN, and this is the Bootstrap JavaScript content delivery network. Fine. Now we are going to add our style sheet. Previously I have made it on the internal style sheet. It's not a good practice. I'm going to make it into a separate file that is called external style sheet, and we will name it as, it will be a folder. Inside the folder we will have a file which is style.css. Let's create the folder on the same directory itself. Let's save it as style.css inside the style sheet folder, as we have linked it on our slider fullscreen.html page. If you look at it, let's see whether it is linked or not. If you press Ctrl U, it will give you the source code. Now if I click, it will show yes, it has properly linked. Now whatever styles is required, we will write it on that style.css file. And now we need the Bootstrap carousel code. So let's get into the W3 school, which will give you the ready-made carousel code. Fine, just copy it and paste it inside the body. As you can see, this is the indicator, carousel indicator. These are the common part which will be on all carousel. Let me show you. The three dots is the carousel indicators. It's on the listed item. Fine. On the left and right side there is an control, so it's inside the anchor tag. So these are fixed, we are not going to touch it, so that's the reason why I paste it below. Now whatever we are going to write, we are going to write it inside the item class. So we have three item classes with div. So we will write our required, what is required. We need the heading, the image and the list item. We will place it inside the item class of each div. So let's, yeah, these are the things which I have said. So in the second, this is the second page. In the third list, third item class, fine, let's give each of them a unique class name. It's better to give id, so I have given class name, that's not a serious issue. Fine. So let's style the item first. Nothing is showing up. It is because we have not written anything inside the items div with class item. If you see, it will show up. Now the slider height is very small, we have to make it full width. For that we will catch the class item and give width 100% of vertical. WV is for vertical width, VH is for vertical height, vertical view and vertical height. So height and width will be 100%. Now it's working. And then we are going to choose unique class name. Let's choose the item one and give the background image. Our images is in the folder called images. bg1.jpg is the image name. If you refresh it, we have to hard refresh it. Yeah, we are inside the style folder. We have to come one level up and get the images. So for that, we are inside the style file. We have to come into one level up and we need to access the image. So for that, // is required. So now if you refresh, yes, it has come up. You can see there are 4 images. We need only one image. For that, background repeat. We say no repeat. I don't want to repeat. And it is very small. We need to make the image we need to cover the image to the screen. For that, background size cover. Now the image will cover full screen. Fine. Now let's do the same thing for item 2 and item 3 class. We just have to change the image name, that's it, bg2 and bg3. Now if you look at it, and everything applied as we required. For next thing is, you can see the image is little blackish, but here the image is very bright, so we want to make it a blackish one. So for that, what we'll do is we will do a pseudo class on the item. On the get the item class and have the pseudo element before. Pseudo element is simply an element which will come before the item class. So this element, you can say, you can think of it as div. This div would be of 100% width, this div would be of 100% height. 100% width and 100% height will be as compared to the item class. If the item class width is 300 pixel and height is 300 pixel, please note, if the item class width is 300 pixel and height is 300 pixel, the pseudo element of item before will also get the height of 300 pixel and width of 300 pixel, because we have given inside before we have used the exclamatory sign. Inside you can see we have given height 100% and width 100%, so it will take the container's height and width. Here here in this tutorial, the this pseudo element's parent is item class. This item class has width of 100 vertical width, height of 100 vertical height, so the pseudo element also gets the same width and height. Fine. Now it is not showing up. We have to make it position absolute. We are making this pseudo element on top of our item element with the help of position absolute. Fine, it has come up before our items class. Fine. Now get into the inspector. We need to make it transparent. Get into the inspector, choose any element, or you can say choose item itself. Choose the extreme bottom, and you can see you will get the pseudo element class. This is the pseudo element class, or the pseudo element styles. You have to make it transparent. Just drag in. You can see, just copy the color code. Now you can see the brightness has gone on the image. Fine. The next step, we need to add some rows. These content are created with the help of rows. We have completed this portion. Now understand the used classes. We will use a parent called row, and inside the row we will have three classes, or you can say three column. The heading is the first column, the URL list is the second column, and the image is the third column. Fine. This row is going to get repeated for every item class. Fine. First we'll get into the first div with class item. So let's get it out of our site so that we don't get confused. So create a row which will have three columns. So let's take the example of Bootstrap row itself so you don't get confused. Inside we will take three columns. For your understanding, let's make it the class name as column1, column2, column3, and we will replace it with as I said, class name and column name. So as I said, the row will be replaced with our row. We are going to style it. Don't worry about it. This is just for understanding. Just note the classes of columns and rows. We'll use this on the style sheet. We will position it in a fine. The first column will have heading. The second column will have list of UL and LI. So for that, get into the inspector and click on the element, right click, edit as HTML, just copy it and paste it inside the column 2. The third thing is, the third column will be of list item. Click on it, edit as HTML, copy the code, close it and paste it inside the third column. Fine. If you refresh it, we have filled all the three columns. If you refresh it, you will see an image appeared and the ULS item also appeared, but it is without style. We are going to apply style to it. The very first thing what we are going to do is we are going to choose the container. We have two containers. The first one is item and the second one is row. The row holds all the column and the item holds a row, so let's choose the to container. The item holds a row, so let's give it position relative, because to use position absolute, your parent or your container class should have position relative. That is the reason I'm choosing both container. As you can see, the item has row and the slide row has all the columns. These two are the container. We are going to give position relative, so that we can give, so that we can use position absolute for all the child columns. Fine, just copy it and paste it to the container class. Fine, there will be no change unless we provide position absolute for the column. Fine, we are going to style the heading. Before giving the position absolute, let's style with our color and everything. We are going this second is for the image. We are going to style the image, and now we are going to style the list item. So before getting into the position, let's style the colors and let's give some sizes to it. So for the heading, it would be of color white, and the font size would be of 4 rem. Fine, if you want you can increase it, that's not the issue. Let's give the height of the image as 400 pixel and the height of the width of the image as 300 pixel. Fine, the images are also shown up. Now it's time for the, we have completed it. Now we don't need this. Now it's time for the list item. We are going to give the same style as we have given to the heading, but the font size would be a little small. Fine, now it's in the static position. Now we have to convert it into the position absolute. Position static is the normal flow. We are converting it to position absolute. Here we are going to have a lot of trial and error. Let's give the top of 10% and left of 50% from the screen. Left 40% from the screen. Now we don't need this itself. We are going to have some lots of trial and testing error. Trial and test way. Fine, now it's time to position the image. We are not going to position the image, we are going to position the container of the image. So the container of the image is slider row call to. The top, from the top let's have 40%, from the left let's have 10%. Let's make it from the top. Fine, that looks nice. Now it's time for the third column. Again the same way, we are going to position it absolute top and left. Here I'm going to show you a trick. The trick is, we are going to use the transform property with translate value 50% from left, 50% from top. Sorry, 50% from x-axis, 50% from y-axis. This will properly position your element on the screen. So this is a trick we need to follow if you want to properly position on any screen, not just this resolution of screen. On any screen we would do position absolute, and then we will use the transform property. With translate, we need to pass the two variable, you can say two value, which is x-axis and y-axis. Fine, now the thing is, we have not given the row width and height. That's why it has gone very up. We need to give the height and width to the, as the item class has 100% width and 100% height, we will give the row as 100% width and 100% height. Fine, now it will work as we need. You can see the list item is with bullet list. We don't need that, we will remove it. Let's remove the bullet list style of unordered list. List style none. We'll remove the bullet from list items. Now we need it on a single line instead of multiple line. For that we have a property called white hyphen space none, sorry, no wrap. So it will not wrap, it will come in a straight line. The heading has the background color and a padding, so let's have the heading and padding to it. We'll copy the color, don't worry, we will get the source code in the description. That the source code will be of Google Drive. You just have to click it and you will get the source code. Fine, I'm still doing the trial and error to make it perfect on this particular screen. I'm comparing it. There is still some I won't say it is issue. There is still, we need some modification or some perfection. That looks okay. Let's forward it. Fine, what I'm doing is I'm just copy pasting all the content from the first item to all other item. We have 3 item classes and copy pasting it. So now if you refresh, you will get everything fine. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening. Get the source code in the description. Fine.